It's what comes after. The monthly payment that feels higher than expected, the monthly payment nobody mentioned, and the changes that happen 6 months into ownership on your first home. If you're buying a home in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, or Las Lunas, this is the part that determines whether you feel confident or stressed. So let's break down the real cost of buying a home in New Mexico so there's zero surprises later on. When you're searching for homes online, and I fell victim for this too, you focus on the price, but see, your monthly payment is made up more than just the loan amount. You have your principal and interest, taxes, home insurance, possibly have mortgage insurance on top of your insurance, and also HOA dues if you decide to buy an HOA community. Although HOA dues here in New Mexico are quite lower than what I've seen in other states. But hear me out, here in New Mexico, property taxes are significantly lower than other states. Sure, you see these amazing custom homes for sale in Texas that are half the price of what you see in New Mexico or any other states. However, their property taxes are through the roof on those things. So having the lower property taxes here in New Mexico surprises most people. But having home insurance could vary more than people expect, depending on the age of the home, the type of roof, and also even the location. If you're putting less than 20% down on your first home, there's something called PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. You'll be paying that too, and you'll be paying that until you get at least 20% of equity inside of your home. Then you'll have to go refinance and that PMI will get removed. The first financial mistake most buyers, including myself, have made before is calculating their monthly payments solely off the sales price and not the full monthly breakdown. Because we didn't even add utilities, internet, subscriptions, and so much more. The next, the closing costs. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Many buyers I have worked with in the past, talking about a lot of first-time home buyers, did not know when you close on your first home, not only do you need to give a down payment, but there's also something called closing costs, which on average is 1.5 all the way upwards to 3% of the sales price that you would be expected to pay at closing on top of your $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 down payment. That's crazy. Although there's some good news for you. In the market that we're in right now, many sellers are willing to contribute money towards your closing costs. And even with new builds, we definitely are able to have them cover all, or if not most of your closing costs. So all you need to come closing with is your down payments. However, if you are a first-time home buyer, you need to split this out. There is a program that gives you down payment assistance and also closing cost assistance. And see, that's another bill you have to worry about on top of your mortgage payment. We'll talk about that later though. But see, you should never assume a seller is going to cover your closing costs until that's negotiated in the deal. If the realtor you decide to go with is savvy enough, they will know how to structure the offer to make sure you, the buyer, win and get the closing costs you need to close on your home without having to come to closing with extra money out of your pocket to close on it. Your closing costs consist of lender fees, title fees, appraisal fees, a home inspection, prepaid taxes, and also insurance. You want clarity on your total cash to close early, not a few days prior to closing. But here's where many buyers miss opportunities. If you are a first-time home buyer in New Mexico, you don't even have to be a resident in New Mexico yet. There are down payment assistance programs like the MFA that will come in and assist you with your down payment and even your closing costs. What they do is they wrap that into a second mortgage on top of your primary mortgage at a 0% rate. They give you 15 years to pay it off. However, there are some qualifications and limitations in order for you to get qualified for that. Now, moving over to new construction homes, because if you're a first-time home buyer or relocating to New Mexico, I highly recommend you give new construction homes a chance because many of the builders have beautiful incentives for you. Not only will builders cover all or if not most of your closing costs, more times than not, they give you something called flex cash. Flex cash is a considerable amount of money that they give you to buy down your interest rate, go towards a design center, or even go towards covering all of your closing costs. I've seen many people buy new homes and buy their interest rate all the way down to a 3.99%. That's crazy, right? And still get all of their closing costs covered. Although, if you want to have that incentive, you would need to have at least 3.5% down. Many down payment assistance programs will not allow someone to go and buy down the rate. But there is one builder in New Mexico I have seen that works very well with first-time home buyers that are qualified with the MFA and still being able to get them massive incentives. If you want to know who that builder is, comment down below builder. Buying down your interest rate with the flex cash that gives you makes a dramatic difference in your monthly payments. Having a lower interest rate on your home significantly changes that monthly payment. You get qualified at $350K with a local lender and buy a resale home and have estimated monthly payments be at $2,700 a month. However, if you were to go the new construction route and have that lower interest payment, your buying power goes up so much more, and you'll be able to buy that $420,000 house and still have monthly payments at around $2,500 a month. Don't quote me on that. These are always estimates, but that's what I've seen in the market. Obviously though, these programs have guidelines. Like with new construction, many builders, in order to receive that incentive, you need to at least have 3.5% down of the sales price to even get these incentives. If you were to go with MFA, which is a down payment assistance program, you'll have income limits. You have primary resident requirements. That means you have to live in the home. You can't rent the home out. And you'll also have loan structure rules. So it's important to understand whether you qualify for a home before going out and strategizing an offer with your realtor, or even looking at homes that are for sale. Get qualified first. Another cost buyers underestimates is what happens after the home inspection. Even in well-maintained homes, home inspectors will always find something. Roof wear, HVAC wear, stucco cracks, electrical updates. Some repairs are negotiable. However, if you're buying a resale home, you're not buying a new home. So some of those repairs may become your responsibility. If you're buying an older home in Albuquerque versus buying a newly built home in Rio Rancho or Los Angeles, the maintenance curve could look very different. Budgeting a small reserve fund for maintenance repairs after closing is probably a smart decision for you to make. New Mexico's climate plays a huge role in utility costs. We have hot summers, cold winters, high elevation, and also dry air. Cooling costs matter in July, as well as your heating costs matter more in December. Water bills could vary depending on lot size and also landscaping. If you're moving from more of a humid climate or coastal states, the utility structure will vary differently. Don't get me wrong, it's not extreme, but this is definitely a cost that you should factor in on your monthly payments. And the final cost is not the bill, it's the lifestyle alignment. Did you stretch your budget too thin? Did you over upgrade and now feeling the pressure? Did you buy in an area that increases commute time and also fuel cost? The buyers who feel the best long terms are the ones who left room in their budget. Room for maintenance, room for life, room for unexpected changes. Buying at the top of your pre-approval amount is sometimes not the smartest decision. Buying at the amount that feels stable is. If you think about buying in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, or Los Angeles, and you want clarity on your numbers and not just listing prices, that conversation matters early. I help buyers break this down every week so they feel protected and not pressured. If this was helpful, make sure you subscribe. And if you want me to run numbers based on your situation, my Linktree info is in the description. Fill out that form, because confidence in real estate comes from understanding the real cost, not the sticker price.